All right, this is Realtor Fight Club, episode number 76.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Realtor Fight Club. I'm happily joined by my friend, Jen Mertland. What's up, Jen?
What's up? I'm fired up today because I just had to go to a roundtable closing. Oh my God.
When was the last time you did that?
Oh, usually Alan is here, so never.
Alan needs to get back from the beach. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, I'm fired up about that.
Good. Well, we're so happy to have you, our listeners, here again. We appreciate you joining in and hope that every single episode you take a little nugget and it helps you figure out exactly what path you're on and what is the most authentic path to you so that you can have real, genuine success. That's what this is all about. There's more than one way to have success in this business. And we hope when you tune in here, it helps you get clarity around that.
Lovely.
So today, Jen and I are going to be duking it out over this question. Is geographical farming dead? So is geo-farming dead? Is it still a viable marketing option?
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go?
Jen, I mean, let me take a page out of your book. No, it is not a viable option.
What? Monica.
No.
That doesn't even make, first of all, I think people would be shocked to find you say that and me to say that it is viable. Let's take a moment of silence for this turn of events.
The relationship-based agent is going to say, oh yeah, go try to build relationships with a piece of paper and a freaking newsletter.
Do you even know what a geo-farm is?
Yeah. Isn't that what you're doing? Like farming a neighborhood? Isn't that what we're talking about? Yeah.
You're building relationships with the people in the neighborhood.
With a piece of paper that you send them so often?
Okay, look, so that's where people can go wrong. So yeah, I think that most people are like, okay, how do you do a geographic farm? So usually, for just a point of clarification, this is no more than 500 homes, ideally about a 300 home community or radius, okay? Most people in the old days, you used to do once a month mailings. And I think that's what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb.
Okay, but I don't think people understand that doesn't work anymore. That's what I'm saying no to. So what is it they're supposed to be doing that would work?
I think that I think you should do that. And I think that is still important. Mail is still important of some kind but you should also door knock. You should also call. You should also do events, different types of ways to connect with people of that community. So a lot of times this is a place where you live, perhaps. This is your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Well, totally different. I mean, I guess you can geo-farm your neighborhood. I call that just connecting with your neighbors. To me, the geo-farm is you don't know anybody and you're going to build the relationship. I understand they're the same in theory, but yeah, I think where you live, you should work on building those relationships.
Okay, so let's say that it is a neighborhood. First of all, you have to pick a neighborhood. If you're going to do it, it needs to be a neighborhood where there's enough movement for it to make sense. Because a lot of people will just pick a neighborhood out of a hat. You need to, if you're going to pick some random neighborhood that's not where you live, and even if you do live in a neighborhood, you should make sure there's enough movement there for it to make sense, right? It's a place that you want to be. It's a price point that you want to be in, things like that, right?
Yep.
But let's say you pick one out of a hat, then does that make sense? I still think it makes sense, but you have to do more than just dropping off and mailing things. You have to door knock. You have to be kind of like the expert of that neighborhood. You have to have also a little bit of some kind of tie there. Even if it's just you sold a house there, that's fine.
Now, what is the reality, do you think, of the average agent doing what's necessary to have success in a cold geo farm?
It's 2 years.
And my question is, what's the likelihood of somebody sticking with that? Let's just be real.
I mean, that's up to them.
I know, but this is why I say no. Okay. It's because we tell agents this is this great idea and whatever, and they freaking do 3 mailers. They're not getting any response. They can't afford the next mail. They stop. And I say,
but that doesn't mean it's not a good idea. That means that they didn't understand what they were getting into. That's a totally different conversation.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think anything, if done properly, consistently over time, will work. That's kind
As
of
long
a
as it's
given.
like in line with you, right?
Right.
So
right.
like you can't, yeah, I agree with that. And we did a podcast on that about like how long should you try something before
Yeah.
it
Right.
doesn't work. And I think what we realized in there, it does depend on what is the tactic and the marketing thing that you're going to do. How authentic is it to you? And what does it really take to do this thing? And a geo farm is 2 years.
And that is why I don't think it is viable. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm saying it's not.
Because most of them are out of the business.
Maybe
by
that's
then.
right. Maybe the viable is the wrong word. I just don't think it's realistic. First of all, agents won't do their homework and do the research. What you said is freaking critical. Like, understand what the attrition is.
Right.
You've got to understand the dynamics of the market in that.
Yeah, but I just don't think because you won't do the work does not mean it's a bad idea.
I'll give you that. I'm saying it's a bad idea because very few agents will actually do what needs to be done to make this generate leads.
Okay.
They're not door knocking. They're not going to do the mailer, or they're going to do some mailer that doesn't connect with people.
Right.
They're not going to go out on a limb and put on an event.
Okay.
They don't understand how to convert people. Like, you're not converting people from an event into a sale. You're converting people from an event over onto your Facebook page or over into
right.
some
There's it's a multi-step.
Right.
It does take something to farm an area. It can be done if you do it the correct way, but haphazardly doing anything is not a good way.
For sure. I just think this one in particular, first of all, you've got to have money for this. This is not cheap.
No,
you got to have money to pour into this.
It's an expensive way to go about it.
So for me, if I had the thousands of dollars it would need to take to commit to this, and the time, the runway that it is needed, I would take that money and I would pour into my most important relationships, my biggest fans, my past clients that know and love me, that can generate referrals a lot more quickly. I just don't think it is the most efficient way to do business today. Especially, you can't door knock right now. People are like, where's your map?
You can door knock. And here's my little door knocking tip for people, especially some of our male friend agents, is to carry a gift bag with you and put your flyers or your door knockers in there.
And then let them pick it out?
No, you can still pick it out, and you need to carry rubber bands too in case you have to attach it to the door. But if you carry a gift bag, people are more likely to open the door for you. Because they're like, oh, there's something for me. Exactly.
Maybe you could just put your flyers in a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
Flowers are for them. This is the flower.
Or have your kid with you in the stroller or something. See, when I go door knocking, people I look like the people in the neighborhood. They think I'm like a mom or whatever. And so
you grab a kid in a wagon?
I don't. And I
adopt a kid.
No, I don't. Me and kids.
Rent a kid for the day.
But I look like I'm a suburban mom.
Right.
And so they always answer the door for me. But if you don't look like that, or you're you could be misconstrued for a religious door knocker or something. This is when the gift bag comes in handy.
I like that tip.
If you're going to do it.
I think you and I agree on that. No, yeah. I think we agree that certainly you could get results. I'm just a firm believer that it's like our team's good for agents. Of course, 5% of our industry could perform a team at a high level, but for the far majority, this is not a good idea. Doesn't mean it doesn't work.
I think we're going to have to go back to our corner. We're both pretty adamant about this.
We need a break. All
right, we're going to take a short break, hear a word from our sponsor, and when we return, we'll have the final punches.
Welcome back. Now, before we ring the bell for the final round, Jen, are we going to the streets on this one? Do you have any other opinions on this?
Well, stay tuned for the tiebreaker.
Whoa. All right. Fine.
All right. Say your piece, Monica.
While anything, if done over time and with great intensity, can work, I think that geo-farming today is too long of a runway for most agents to stick with it, because you have to build that trust, that rapport, that relationship, and doing it through little mailers or little opportunities for door knocking or events just isn't what most agents will do. So they're not going to do it right. So it's not going to work. I think you could take that money, pour it into your most important relationships, show up as a human being first, deepen and strengthen those relationships, and have better results than trying to make 300 new friends in a place you don't know anybody.
But see, and I think that especially if you're like maybe new to an area or something like that, that this is a great way because it's a very structured way to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Because already you don't know people, all these things. Let's assume that you've done the research and this neighborhood is a good neighborhood. It has a lot of movement, people buying and selling at a regular intervals, things like that. And actually, Monica, can you give us tips on how we would figure that out?
On what?
The attrition rate.
Oh, so you can look back over the past X number of years, whatever, see how many homes have gone on the market, check out the expires.
Maybe 5 years could be good.
5 years, I think, would be good. Now you take the number of sales and you divide it, or you take the number of houses divided by the number of sales, and you can kind of see what percentage of houses are selling on a regular basis there. And is it worth your while? If you've got 2 people moving every year in a market,
Not worth it. Right.
That's not very much. But if you've got, I don't know, 10% of the homes turning over, that's 30 out of 300.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think that's great. And that's it. That's really good advice. So I think let's assume you found the right neighborhood. I think for somebody like me, I like the structure of it because it's like, I'm going there, I'm focusing on that. Like I can grab intensity around the focus of that neighborhood. I can intentionally do things in that neighborhood, host events, host a food truck, door knock, like the conversation. I can set up a portal for myself of everything that goes on the market, comes off the market, like in that neighborhood. I can make calls into that neighborhood and I know what I'm saying and I know what I'm talking about. So I like the structure and it can work. I agree with you though, to your point, you have to be like everything. Like people do this with cold calling. It makes me insane. They'll be like, well, I cold called a FSBO one time and he was
didn't work. Right.
Okay. Well, how many people did you date before you met your spouse? More than one? Okay. So relax, call again.
Right. Right. Exactly. If I were going to do it, if I was like I think your point of moving into a new area, sometimes you don't have your sphere to operate within, but I would provide some sort of service for that neighborhood, whether it be create the Facebook page, the community Facebook page for them, or some sort of resource for the neighborhood that maybe gave them competitor information. There's certainly probably another neighborhood, the pricing is about the same and buyers would buy in either, that kind of a thing. Maybe I do a VIP program for the neighborhood. They get to borrow this margarita machine and I have this ladder and I have, what I would come from contribution in some way so I could really get to know people quickly.
Well, and the cost can also be cut. It doesn't have to be you. You can get like the lender or whatever to go in.
Yeah, right. Good point.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Yeah. I also think that you brought up something that I want to make sure people hear too. Even if you do move to a new area, a lot of people don't realize you can still talk to your sphere. You would just get referrals.
Right.
Like you could still make the referral money. So it's not, people forget that. We should do an episode on that.
Yeah, we should. How to make money in your old hometown or another market where you have influence. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think that's going to be the end of today's battle, though. What do you think?
I think we should. Do you think there was a knockout today? Do you agree with Jen? Do you think I'm spitting some truth? What do you think here?
Hashtag
go to our Facebook page. Whatever. I'm not sure. I think most agents are going to be like, yeah, Monica, I'm with you.
Just because you're not willing to do the work doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
Go to our Facebook page. That's Realtor Fight Club Podcast. And let us know what you think, interested. And if you've had success with this or massive failure with this, we would love to hear about it because we can learn from both.
Exactly. And of course, if you're interested in EXP and you have some questions, feel free to call or text me 513-400-1691. All right. Thanks, Monica.
All right, Jen. See you next time.
Bye.